So hello and welcome to Farm Tour Friday. Hopefully when this is uploaded, this will be April 14th, 2023. And today I'm just gonna give you guys an update on what's going on at the flower farm. I'm sitting in front of my beautiful daffodil patch. Let me see if I can grab a flower. But I will talk about that more later in the video. I've already pre-recorded most of it. So I kind of show you my tulips, I show you daffodils, and today we're going to talk about some of the things I like to use for cutting in the spring that are either weeds or just some perennial plants that I really enjoy cutting from. I'm also going to talk about some of the plants that I love to let reseed in the garden, and then just some things I'm going to be using for an upcoming wedding in May. So this probably looks like a giant patch of wild onion or wild garlic, which beyond this, over there, that's what that is. But here in front of us is actually a type of allium, which is in the onion family. And it will have a purple bloom on it later, so it's kind of globe-like. And then back here I have more forms of allium, and you can see their structure is a little bit different. But I have purple sensation, which is another smaller rounded purple, and then I have this larger globe. I can't remember the variety name of it, but they're really, really neat. And that's what this one is that's coming up. And I'll try to show a picture of what I have. One that I dried, and I put it in a dried arrangement, and it is so neat. But they're kind of clunky when you want to put them in a flower arrangement, unfortunately. I really love to let things reseed in the garden if they can, and this is called Bupleurum, and so this is actually one that does better if it's reseeded. It almost has done too good because these are, you know, several plants in one hole. So what I really need to do is come through here and thin these out. But I was going to take up this plastic, but once I saw the Bupleurum coming up, I thought it would be a waste to cut all this out, because it is an awesome greenery. It has little yellow flowers on it. It's so fresh smelling, and I have a wedding coming up in May that I'd really love to use it with if I can. So I'm definitely leaving these. Again, I'll probably thin these out, but it just reseeds like mad in the garden. So I really need to focus its reseeding next year. And then another greenery that is actually can be used, that's actually a weed, is this field pennycress. So I don't particularly like the smell of it, but it is an awesome greenery, and you can see whenever it gets bigger, the pods form. And that's what's really, it provides a lot of texture. So I would like to use some of these if they're still ready around the time of that wedding. I think it would provide a nice little bit of texture. The only downside is I just don't like the smell. So may come to that point and I won't use it, but it is kind of awesome in the springtime when it's hard to get greenery. This field pennycress can be an awesome way to have greenery with for free, basically, because it pops up everywhere. Another greenery I like to use is actually called mountain mint, and so there's a couple different varieties of mountain mint, which is what I found out. I ordered this variety from Baker Creek Heirloom Seed, and it was sold as an herb. It really is, like, it's very small right now, but it's not as invasive as other mints, and it makes a great greenery in the bouquet. These will get very tall. The first year I grew them, they didn't get that tall, but you should have seen them last year. They were so tall and so useful. And I honestly, I couldn't use all the stems. It was, this little patch is not very big. It's only from here over to here. So this is my perennial area. And I would be remiss if I did not show you my glorious daffodil patch. I have some pictures of this on one of our blog articles, but This variety is simply beautiful. and it's called, I'm gonna butcher it, it's called Delnashaw, I think. So it's just, so if you're following us and wanting to buy daffodils, I did not cut, obviously, these in time. There's still some that will be ready, but I just felt like if I would have, it got really hot and I wasn't here to harvest, basically. So unfortunately, I don't have any for sale. I do have a little bit in the cooler, but I've held them there for a little bit. So I could actually cut these. I could cut this stem. That's perfect. So I could make a couple bouquets. I had a lot of tulips, so I'd really like to move those as well. But if anybody's interested in a couple bouquets, I definitely should probably cut them just in case. But I just love looking at this patch. And the great thing about daffodils is you don't have to buy new bulbs every year. You can just, you basically, when I'm cutting, I cut down to the bottom of the stem and I leave these leaves right here. So by leaving the leaves, that allows the plant to put energy back into its bulb, and then it will bloom again next year and even maybe spread. So this patch is just absolutely beautiful, and I need to be better about cutting it, but I get so focused on the tulips sometimes because daffodils don't have a long vase life. So that's my, you know, tulips, I can store them a lot longer. So I do focus more on them for sure. But they are just simply gorgeous, and they smell, this variety smells really good too. I just love that kind of creamy orange center. So again, something that's really nice to reseed is bachelor buttons. So look, this one's already starting to go. So this is, I'm really excited to use these bachelor buttons in the wedding in May because she has a lot of blue tones. So these, I just honestly, I have not planted them in the last couple years. I just let them reseed because I hate cutting them. They're very frustrating to cut. They're just, there's the stems, just the way it's just not a fun plant to cut on. And then you can see my little interplanting experiment. So I've got ranunculus on the outside, which is right here, and then I have sweet peas on the inside. It's been getting so hot for these plants, so I really hope that they make it, because it gets really hot in here. But I've been trying to water more to help cool them down. And these ranunculus, I mean, look how green this is. They have never looked like, I've never had a healthy looking crop of ranunculus, and these look beautiful. I mean, last year when I grew them, they were so small and they were just so ugly, and I barely got anything off of them last year. So I'm really excited to see these. I'm really excited for these to start pushing up so I can tie them on to the fence. But I think also that this is going to be a great way to, if the sweet peas grow up, this side of the bed is going to get shaded a little bit more, but I think it'll be good for the ranunculus if they're still bearing for a little while, if these sweet peas take off, because it just keeps getting hotter and hotter. So my sweet peas ended. I didn't have enough seed. I actually found more seed afterwards, but so I'm going to actually finish this row out by planting some, I have these pole beans, and I grew them in the tunnel last year on this, and they did really well, but I just grew them on the end. So this year I'm going to grow them on this end and fill in this gap here. But here is another of my experiments, is I saved my own ranunculus. If you watch our first Facebook Live of the season, I think I showed you them in maybe first or second. I showed you them in a little jar. I was soaking them. So I went ahead and just directly planted them into the ground, because a lot of people say to pre-sprout them, which means that you will put them in soil and in a dark place and let their roots develop before you plant them out. But I just planted them right in the ground, and they are growing. So I don't know if they're gonna have enough time to really push out a good bloom, but it's a fun experiment. So if anybody's a flower farmer and wondered if that could work, it's working so far. We'll see how it goes. Just gonna keep watering really well. And then down here is my grandma's sweet peas, which I think I showed you on a Facebook Live previously in the season. And look how much they're taking off. They are like, look at that. they're growing. But these are, I believe, a perennial sweet pea. I don't know what the species is. So they grow every year. I mean, these are the same plants. They didn't bloom last year. So this is the same plant that overwintered, and it's coming back like better than ever, and it's even kind of like suckering out. So it must, I don't know, propagate itself from its roots in some way. And I don't know what species it is. I'm excited to see the blooms, and I'm just really excited because these are my grandma's, and she gave them to me, and I've got a little package with her handwriting on it. And so like she wrote on there, you know, at least 70-year-old variety, because these sweet peas were growing in the ditch at her house when they moved there. So that's pretty cool. So I'm excited to see how they are, and see if they have a good scent and all of that. So we'll see how it goes. Here is my first anemone bloom from my little patch. There's a little dandelion trying to grow through here, but look how blue, like look at that bluish purple color. It's so, you just don't see that often in flowers. That's why I love these little guys. So I'm gonna open them up. So the first few blooms of anemones are very short, and even the cutting varieties, and then they'll get longer throughout the season, the stems, that they should. So last year I did not have much luck. I might have to switch suppliers if I have the same problem again this year, because I do notice that the corms or bulbs are, for lack of a better word, are a lot smaller. So I think maybe I need to get some bigger ones, because they're not, you know, it's not leafed out and as full in here. But look how, I wish this would open more. But I just love these flowers. These are like my favorites ever since I guess you could say discovered them. So definitely worth trying them out. That's why I have those little anemone pots this year. So you can just grow them in your pot, or you can cut them off and put them in a little bud vase. They're so sweet. I love them. Okay, I just recorded the ending and it didn't record, so I'm gonna re-record this. Okay, thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any specific questions or anything that you like to see on the farm, please let me know. I'm kind of just showing you the same things over and over again, just showing you how things are progressing, but there's definitely a lot of things that I could cover. I'm actually going to start potting up some of our cut flower starts here pretty soon. So hopefully next week we might be able to highlight that. And I have a lot of veggies started in the basement. So if any of you all are local and you're interested in veggies, I have probably got your back as far as tomatoes and peppers are concerned. So I will post more about that on social media. But I wanted to take a second before I end this video to talk about our rose of the week, which is Queen of Elegance. Right here. Queen of Elegance. So a lot of rose varieties nowadays have been bred to, basically their scent has been bred out of them. And what's special about this rose is that she has that strong old rose fragrance. So I'm really excited to smell the rose whenever she produces, but also she has really pretty, if you've ever looked her, like, you should look up this rose on Google for sure and see if you can find any gardener like pictures of in gardens and stuff. If you want a good resource, if you Google like Queen of Elegance help me find, it will take you to the help me find article page for this rose. So helpmefind.com has all kinds of information about different roses on there. And so that's what I like to do, because gardeners will actually submit photos of roses growing in their garden. And this rose, if you can see the picture here, it's kind of got more of a purpley look to the petals, but it's not, if you look online, that's not the color that, it's not as purpley. It's definitely more pink. So it's just hard. I don't have a picture of it yet to show you guys, but definitely if you're wanting something that's pretty great cut flower, strong old rose fragrance, and really pretty big blooms, then Queen of Elegance is your girl. You should look her up. So we have a couple varieties left of her. I really wanted to keep this variety, but I decided that I would wait see how things go. I'm not going to keep this one specifically, but if, you know, if any of you guys buy this rose and you like it in your garden, please send me pictures and maybe I'll add it to my cutting lineup. But first I gotta see how the other 50 I planted, which will now become 60 here next week. I gotta see how they're gonna do first. But anyways, thanks for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're enjoying these Farm Tour Fridays. Hopefully in the future we can get a few of the technical difficulties sorted out. I would like to use a different device to record, but we'll see how that goes in the future. But thanks for watching. Reach out with any questions. Have a wonderful spring weekend. Thanks, guys.